who right now, like who do you go to report this and they get involved and say, whoa, this is, we got to investigate this. Who is being helpful? Who is not? People you're reporting to.
Law enforcement's helpful.
They are helpful.
Yes.
In what way?
I mean, they will actually process a video. So there's certain attorney general's offices across the United States that have, become passionate about this issue and care about it. And so a video could be sent to them and they will then reach out to PornHub and demand that it comes down. So that's helpful. One thing that's not helpful is that Ethical Capital Partners has set up a system where if a user sees a problematic video on PornHub, they can't just flag the content and take it, actually just flag it. They have to log in.
That's how you just tweeted that.
They have to create a user account in order to report it. Now, I find that interesting because children don't have to create a user account to watch the videos on PornHub.
What?
Anyone in the world. So a child, right? Anyone with a device.
Go to pornhub.com.
All they have today, and they didn't even have this.
You're going to be fine because I'm the one that's going to write you up.
So they only have.
Oh, shoot, back up.
Yeah,
okay, I didn't. Seriously, that's the homepage?
Yes.
Okay. They didn't even have an Are You 18 click-through button when all of this started in 2020 that any 5-year-old could navigate through.
You see those guys in the back? So let me ask you, you're so funny, Humberto, I can hear you. So a child can go on without logging in?
But you can't flag a video. If you see a video on PornHub that you think is illegal, you can't just flag that video without actually logging in. Yet they allow anybody to watch their entire library of millions of videos without logging in. So, I mean, how ethical is that, right?
So, okay, so you go in, anybody can go through any of the videos that are on there. But if I want to report something, I need to log in. I've already consumed the video. I've seen it. But if I want to report, I have to log in. Why do I have to log in to report?
I think that it's a deterrent factor for reporting. I mean,
why?
Because if they get... So let me tell you another thing. In the legal discovery that's happened, so there's now, let's see, nearly 300 victims who are suing PornHub in 25 lawsuits, including multiple class actions on behalf of tens of thousands of child victims. Okay? And part of the legal discovery has uncovered the fact that they only had one person. Now, the company had 1,800 employees by the end of 2020. And they employed one person to work 5 days a week reviewing videos flagged by users as containing terms of service violations, including what would be child rape, trafficking, all sorts of non-consensual content, okay? They had a policy that a video had to be flagged 15 times before it was put in line for review. Are you following me? So an abuse victim,
Before
a
it was
child,
put in for review, one person that does 5 days a week, I'm following.
Right. So a victim could find their abuse on PornHub. They would have to flag it over 15 times for it to even be put in line for review.
Oh, wow.
And their entire backlog was 706,000 videos. Now,
706,000 videos of 15 times being flagged?
Of a backlog of flagged videos. Videos that were flagged.
Not 15 times, just flagged once.
Just flagged. Flagged videos. Now, here are the emails that are saying, so this is the CEO again. They're in trouble with MasterCard.
Is this the old CEO or the new
Ross
CEO?
Antune, but the CPO, who's currently the same CPO, the VPs that are currently the same VPs, are discussing this policy. And they're talking about, look, he says, the below seems good and reasonable. Videos with 15 flag is never viewed. And they say we have 706,425 videos that have been flagged that are in the backlog, okay? So this was the process. Now tell me now, based on that, is it any wonder that they make it difficult to flag videos? I don't know how many they have today, but that's the system
CPO
they
is the chief product officer?
Yes.
Okay. Who's the chief product officer? What's the name of the guy?
Karim El-Marazi. Karim El-Marazi.
Karim El-Marazi?
Yes. E-L-M-A-R-A-Z-I.
Oh, is that it? Like it's no, just he's giving you a suggestion right there. It says, do you mean? Yeah, right there. Is this the guy?
There he is, right there. Yes.
Okay, so can we read his background? I want to know his background. Karim Alvarez is currently Chief Product Officer at MindGeek. Before joining MindGeek, he served President TV and managed services at Playboy Plus Entertainment, okay, from August 2011 to July 16. Before their time at Playboy, Karim was with Bell from June of 2002 to September of 2011, where they held the title of General Manager Mobile Solutions. In this role, Karim was responsible for business solutions and wireless professionals going to management. Okay. So, all right. So he was at Playboy. From Playboy, he comes in here, Chief Product Officer. In the email, he's saying those that get flagged 15 plus times don't get that many views. The other 706,000 videos that got flagged do.
No, he's the one that's part of this discussion where they have set up a policy. So this is what is so problematic.
The policy is the 15?
The policy is the fact that they have one person out of a staff of 1,800. They're making hundreds of millions. So you're a businessman.
Yes.
Again, if you're a company that wants to make sure that there's not illegal content proliferating all over your site, okay? You have 1,800 employees. Most of them are not doing the compliance work. In fact, we have evidence that they only had 30 moderators moderating the content.
What was the number they told me when I asked them? Do you remember that when I said, how many moderators do you have?
They said they wouldn't tell you. They wouldn't tell you a number, but they said hundreds. They said hundreds.
How many is actually doing it?
Well, I know that as of 2020, they only had 30. And not only they had 30 working 10 per shift. And these people were actually tasked to watch at least 700 videos per shift. They were reprimanded if they had less than 700. Some of the more advanced moderators that were there for a long time and knew how to skip through things very quickly were even watching up to 2,000 videos per 8-hour shift. And they were watching these, just skipping through these. They just skip through them. They just skip through the videos.
So you watch it on 2.0 speed.
But this isn't even just PornHub. This is for all the tube sites. So they own PornHub, RedTube, YouPorn, GayTube, XTube. So many tube sites. And they had 10 people. Now compare this. Facebook has 15,000 moderators, okay? This is a company that owns most of the world's most popular porn sites, okay? Think of the massive amount. They hired 10 people per shift to do this job, okay? That is a policy that they put in place while they are not verifying agent consent, while they have one person reviewing flagged videos. So when I say that these executives and these VPs set up these policies, these weren't accidents. These were decisions.
How many videos are uploaded per hour? They gave the number. Do you remember the video, Rob?
They said there were 2,000 per day now. Okay. They used to have 25,000
per
a day.
Now it's 2,000.
In 2020.
Okay. So if they got 2,000 per day, it works if you have hundreds, like they said.
To review every video.
Video. It doesn't work if it's only 30.
The problem is it doesn't matter if they have 10,000 moderators. If they're not verifying the agent consent of every individual in every video, it's a guessing game. And you hit on that during your interview. It's a game of Russian roulette with people's lives because there's no way that they can guess properly who's 16 and who's 18, right? Yeah. Because not even a pediatrician can guess on a consistent basis who's 15 and who's 18. You just cannot do it.
Is this the part, Rob?
This is where they explain how many moderators they have.
Can I hear this? I'm curious.
Every single video is reviewed by a human. We have age ID consent for uploaders, everybody appearing in content. There is absolutely no incentive to do otherwise on our platform. I always make that point. Like from a business perspective, there's no incentive to do anything but the highest standards of trust and safety. So you have a company with 1,500 people, you're going to have people who are saying nonsense.
Technical product manager?
So I have to say this. This is not someone, obviously, when I'm reviewing the company and I look very, very carefully at it, including spending time. None of these are not trust and safety staff. These are not moderators. These are not people in compliance. Whatever idea they have, although it's very interesting, we learned something from these videos. We actually learned a very important lesson, which was you can have a company of 1,500 people and you'll have graphic designers and you'll have salespeople and customer support all of them need to be educated on our trust and safety system. So we actually, the company in response, and I think it was absolutely the right thing to do. Now, doesn't matter if you're the janitor.
Are they going to tell us how many moderators, Rob?
They're not. They're going to say
He
they have
continues
hundreds.
this word salad where he actually doesn't answer how many moderators
They won't
have.
tell. They won't say exactly how many they were.
No, he just keeps stating that they have
used to have
1,500
30.
employees.
Okay, but here's what he just said was they review every single video. Now, let me say, they've been saying that since they started defending themselves in 2020. Let me tell you what that means. That is their admission of deep complicity. Because there was a 12-year-old boy, right, drugged, overpowered, and raped in 23 videos with titles that indicated that it was abuse. I won't say what they are on because I don't want people to be disturbed, but the titles of the videos, and maybe I will. I mean, young ass is best, uncle secret, little nephew, things like that on these videos. They had, right, confirmed by the Sunday Times, children as young as 3 on this site.
Be quiet.
The Sunday Times did an investigation in late 2019. They found dozens of videos on the site that were illegal within minutes, even children as young as 3. They have had, now I've seen these videos, and this is described in the New York Times piece by Nick Kristof, videos where victims are so unconscious and drugged, their bodies are completely limp, and a masked assailant is actually lifting the eyelids of the victims. You can see their red bloodshot eyes.
What are you talking about?
And actually touching the eyeballs of these victims.
In PornHub.
On PornHub. Drug needles where you could see the needle with which they were drugged. And I don't want to disturb people by describing it in too much detail, but let's just say it is clear that this is not acting. Okay? When you're actually tickling the feet and you're touching the eyeballs of a rape victim, and what they're saying is that their moderators, what he just said was that this is what they've been saying since 2020. Their moderators viewed those videos. They approved, and this is confirmed. You look at lawsuits, 179-page complaints detailing the evidence of a site infested with real obvious sexual crime. He's saying that those moderators viewed and then said, looks good. Let's go ahead and put this live on the site. And not only that, let's go ahead and monetize it with ads because every video, I describe in my book one video of a clearly prepubescent child. It's so obvious. And she is being anally raped by a perpetrator. And she is protesting in the video. And we reported it and it didn't come down. Weeks later, it was still up.
Under new ownership or old ownership?
This is the old ownership, but old ownership is the same VPs and executives that are there today, right? Okay, we already know that. They already said that. It didn't come down. It got reported multiple times. It was only when we got the FBI involved, then they reported to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children that they finally were forced to take down this video. And even when they took down the video, because traffic is so important to them, because inventory is so important to them, they took down the video, but they left a black box there that said, removed at the request of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They left the tags, the title, the views, the comments, everything. Why? Because they want inventory, because they want it to be picked up on Google to drive more traffic to the site. And maybe they won't see that particular child's abuse, but then they'll just get directed to a whole bunch of other material.
Okay, so that's when I said, aside from you, who is reacting to this? Obviously,
so many people.
This
is a movement.
I get it's a movement, but now if you're in front of a court and you got lawyers, I got lawyers representing them, PornHub, and I got lawyers representing you and the victims, right? The lawyers representing them are going to say, Your Honor, we bought this company in March of 2023. We know these were the issues. Here's what we've done. We made the investment. We've gotten rid of this and we've gotten rid of that. And back in the days, 91% of it is gone. And we are following the guidelines and this because we want this thing to be extremely compliant and we want to follow the guidelines by every single state and da-da-da-da-da. And this is what we've done.
That's not how the law works.
But how does it work?
Because you can't go commit a crime and just because time has passed, you don't get held responsible for it. Okay, so right? That's not how justice works. That's why.
Not if it's new ownership, though, because if I buy a company that...
Well, they're the ones who are being sued. So ILO, right, Ethical Capital Partners is not able to escape the litigation of what...
I understand.
You're going to think I'm crazy when I tell you this, but the last 13 and a half years, I've been working on my first fiction book to write, ever. Fiction book to write. And while I finished this book, a year ago, I got the strangest phone call about one of the characters in the book where the guy wanted to meet with me and he read the book. And afterwards is like, wait a minute, am I the villain in the book? This is a story about a character named Asher, who is half Armenian, half Assyrian, whose father was involved in the Iranian Revolution, linked to Savak, working with the Shah, that they escape and he gets recruited to a secret society. Well, when you go to the secret society, it's been around for a couple thousand years. They've developed some of the craziest leaders of all time. And they test you. There's unique tests that they have at the society where they test to see your emotional mental toughness. One of the tests that they have is very rigorous. It's purely mental. Of course, there's a physical one, but one is mental and emotional. If you're Armenian, if you're Syrian, if you're Persian, this is a book you're going to be reading and saying, holy moly, this is the kind of stuff you talk about in here? Yes. If you're somebody that's fascinated by history, this is a book for you. Characters. There's a technology that this society, secret society, builds where you go into a vault. I won't spoil it for you. When you go down, they have a technology where you get to sit down and watch and have a 3-4 hour conversation with Tupac. You can set up a debate between Karl Marx and Ayn Rand. Karl Marx is in the book, who wrote Communist Manifesto. Ayn Rand, who wrote Atlas Shrugged, is in the book. Marilyn Monroe explains the concept of seduction and sex in the book. When you read the book, it's about development of the next leaders in the world and how they do it and how they've been doing it for many years. And it's also about how to prevent the end of civilization and how this organization goes about doing it. So, I've never written a parenting book before, but if I ever wrote a parenting book, this is the closest thing to it because it's all mindset, a lot of crazy stories. Again, 13 and a half years. Trust me, I told myself I will not publish this book until I sell my insurance company and I'm fully disconnected from it, where it's no longer my responsibility 100%. When you read this, if you're a creative person, if you like fiction books, if you enjoyed Atlas Shrugged, or if you enjoy Divergent, if you like books like that, I think you're gonna enjoy reading this book. It's the creative side. Business books is very easy. Here's how you do it. Here's how this how it works. This is very creative. If you haven't placed the order yet, now you can order it on Simon & Schuster, Amazon. I'm gonna put the link up below somewhere here, maybe even in my profile. Go order the book and read it. I've never written a book where I can't wait to read your reviews to see what you think about this book. So I'm going on this wild journey and we have some plans with this book here. If you support the things that I work on, I would appreciate you going and reading the book, order the book on Amazon, and then post a review.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.